After 25 years in the landscaping industry and a PhD in horticulture, I can tell you one thing. Most homeowners, they are buying the wrong hostas. They walk into the garden center, they see a wall of green, they grab whatever's on sale, and they hope for the best. And I completely understand that, because there's more than 6,000 hosta varieties, and most of them are not performing in the landscape the way you want them to. Today, I'm going to change that. I've put together a list of 12 hosta plants that I put in real landscapes to get real results year after year. Now, some of these hostas were recently planted and they're not at their mature size yet, but I'm going to show you how to get them there. Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Warren and you're watching The Plant Doctor. Let's get started. This one here is just a baby, but we're going to start with one that is a literal showstopper once mature. This is Empress Wu, and by every measure, this is the largest hosta ever introduced to commerce. At maturity, Empress Wu will reach 4 to 5 feet tall and spread 6 to 9 feet wide. The individual leaves can measure 18 inches long to 18 inches wide. I want you to think about that for a second. A single hosta leaf nearly 2 feet across. Empress Wu is a slow developer. It takes 3 to 5 years for it to reach full maturity. What you're seeing here is a plant just establishing its roots. And here's what I always tell my clients. In the first year, it sleeps. In the second year, it creeps. And in the third year, my oh my, will it ever leap. The foliage is a deep green blue, heavily textured and corrugated. It's hardy in zones 3 through 9, full shade to part shade, and once it reaches maturity, it becomes the single most commanding shade plant you can put in residential landscape. Empress Wu is a statement plant. If you're looking for a centerpiece in a shade garden that will stop people in their tracks, this is your plant. Number 2 on the list is Sum and Substance, and it makes the list for 2 separate reasons. Number 1, the sheer size that this plant will get, and number 2, in my experience, this is a little more slug resistant than some of the other varieties that are available. Sum and Substance is a giant. It matures to roughly 3 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide. But where Empress Wu gives you deep blue-green, Sum and Substance gives you brilliant chartreuse to gold color that absolutely lights up a shady spot in any landscape. Now I want to talk about slugs for a moment because this is one of the most common complaints I hear from homeowners. They walk out in the morning and their hostas look like Swiss cheese. Here's where things get interesting with Sum and Substance. It has some of the thickest, heaviest leaves of any of the large hostas on the market, and it is that thickness that makes it naturally slug resistant. Slugs simply cannot damage a leaf this substantial. Sum and Substance also handles more light than most people expect. It will take morning sun and even some afternoon sun, no problem. The more sun it gets, the more golden color the leaves will be. The more shade it gets, the more chartreuse the leaves will be. If you have a shade garden and you're looking for drama and reliability, Sum and Substance delivers both. Number 3 on the list is a variety that I recommend when homeowners first ask me about using hostas in their garden. This is June, and it is an award-winning hosta that I've used on countless properties. June is a medium-sized hosta. It matures to about 18 to 22 inches tall and roughly 30 inches wide. But the reason it earns the number 3 spot on this list is that two-tone coloration. You get a brilliant gold to chartreuse center with blue-green margins that frame it beautifully. It is one of the most visually striking hostas in the landscape, and it has been recognized as such with multiple awards over the years. Here's what I really love about June. That gold center actually intensifies with morning sunlight. So if you have a spot that gets 2 or 3 hours of morning sun just before moving into the shade, June is going to reward you with the best color it can produce. It is remarkably slug-resistant variety for a medium-sized hosta. The leaf substance is good. It's reliable year after year, and it pairs with virtually anything in the shade garden. If I could recommend just one hosta to a homeowner that's new to shade gardening, I would start with June. Number 4 on our list is Patriot, and this is a hosta that earns its keep season after season, year after year. Patriot is a medium to large size hosta maturing to about 22 to 24 inches tall and 36 inches wide. The foliage is deep dark green with a wide crisp white margin, and the contrast is what makes it work in so many different landscape settings. What separates Patriot from other variegated hosta varieties is its resilience to heat. I've planted hundreds of these in Zone 7 and Zone 8, and they thrive all summer long. If you're gardening in a warmer climate and you've had trouble with hostas burning out on you in mid-July, Patriot is the one to try. I've had clients plant Patriot along a shaded walkway, and it becomes the most visible element in the shade garden, all because of that white margin. Even on a cloudy day, it seems to glow. And that's the kind of reliability, visual impact that makes a landscape planting successful year after year. Number 5 is where I want to challenge one of the most common myths that I hear about hostas, that they are a deep shade plant. The more shade, the better. And I understand that completely, but this is stained glass, and it will make you reconsider that thought. Stained glass is a medium to large hosta, about 22 inches tall and 36 inches wide at maturity. And the coloration is spectacular. A bright gold center with olive green margins. In good morning light, that gold center practically glows, which is exactly where the name comes from. And here's where things get interesting with stained glass. It can handle significantly more sun than most hosta varieties that are out there. I place stained glass in a variety of spots with 4 to 5 hours of direct morning sun, and it performs beautifully. The color actually improves with that added light exposure. Now I want to be clear here, I'm not saying put stained glass in Zone 8 in full sun all day, every day, because context matters. But if you have a spot that most hosta growers would walk away from because it gets too much sun, stained glass might be your answer. Number 6 on the list is Autumn Frost, a Hosta of the Year award winner, and in my opinion, one of the most beautiful two-toned hostas that you can work with. Autumn Frost is a smaller hosta compared to what we've been looking at. It matures to about 12 to 14 inches tall and 24 inches wide. The foliage is blue-green with a wide frosted gold to cream margin that gives it an almost silvery appearance in low light. It's genuinely stunning. What I appreciate most about Autumn Frost is its versatility in the landscape. This is a hosta you can use in a container, in a border edge, or as a ground cover under trees where you need something that stays tidy and compact. Autumn Frost fills the role of a smaller refined shade perennial beautifully. And like stained glass, Autumn Frost can take a little bit more sun than some of the other varieties. The gold margins seem to serve as a buffer. I've planted Autumn Frost in morning to early afternoon sun and had zero issue. Now I should mention, this is one of the most recently planted specimens in my garden. At full maturity, you'll see a much fuller, more rounded mound than what I'm showing you here. But even at this size, you can already see exactly why it's earned that award. The name for number 7 may make you hungry, and this is one that is new to me, and it caught me by surprise. This is cherry cheesecake. And I want you to look closely at something. Do you see those stems, those petioles? They're red, bright cherry red, running from the base of the plant directly to the leaf. Cherry cheesecake also has red bracts and red scapes on the flower stalk. In a world full of hostas with green stems, this is completely different. Cherry cheesecake was a 2024 release, so it's relatively new in the industry, and this one was literally planted about 2 weeks ago. This is not a mature sized cherry cheesecake. Once fully developed, it will reach about 17 inches tall and about 20 inches wide, with upright, dramatic habit that really shows off those red petioles. The foliage itself is a yellow gold with a heart shape, which creates this incredible contrast with the red stems. Cherry cheesecake looks just as good as in a container on a covered porch as it does in a landscape bed. Here's what I really love about cherry cheesecake. It gives you multi-season interest at the stem level that other hostas simply cannot provide. When it comes to unique visual impact in the shade landscape, nothing else can compare to cherry cheesecake. Now I know what you're thinking after Empress Wu and Summon Substance and some of these other huge hostas that we've looked at. What is this tiny little thing doing on the list? This is mouse ears. Mouse ears matures to 8 to 10 inches tall and about 12 inches wide. And the reason it's on the list is because it's one of the most versatile, most slug resistant, most reliable hostas you can put in a landscape. Look at these leaves. They are thick, round, and cupped. Mouse ears is one of the most slug-resistant hostas in existence because slugs cannot penetrate that leaf substance. I planted this variety in gardens where slugs were destroying everything, and mouse ears came through without a mark on it. This is the hosta for the front of a border, the edge of a path, a container, anywhere you need something compact, tidy, and genuinely tough. I've used mouse ears as a ground cover, and I've also used it under large trees where bigger hostas would be out of scale. But don't let the size fool you. Small footprint, massive impact in the landscape. That's mouse ears. Number 9 is Blue Moon, and if you're dealing with the slug problem that nothing else can survive, this is the hosta for you. Blue Moon is a compact variety from the Tardiana group, maturing to about 9 to 12 inches tall and 12 inches wide. The foliage is an intense deep blue-green, some of the truest blue coloration you'll find in a hosta, with heavily cupped, heart-shaped leaves that have exceptional substance. That leaf substance makes Blue Moon one of the most slug-resistant hostas on the market. I put Blue Moon on the list specifically for homeowners who have slug issues. This is also a slow to moderate grower, so this one stays neat and tidy all year long. With Blue Moon being a slow developer, if you plant it this spring, manage your expectations for the first year. By year 3 or 4 in the ground, you'll have a tight, beautiful mound of true blue that requires almost no maintenance. That's the payoff. Near white flowers in midsummer, which is an added bonus. USDA zones 3 through 9. Number 10 on the list is Island Breeze. This is a proven winner's introduction that I've been really impressed with. Island Breeze matures to about 12 inches tall, 18 inches wide. The coloration is brilliant. A bright, luminous yellow center with wide, dark green margins. It is one of the most eye-catching small hostas I've worked with, and the contrast between the yellow center and the deep green margins is exceptional. What I appreciate about Island Breeze is the margin is exceptionally wider than most other hostas with this color combination. This is one of the specific improvements built into this cultivar. It has a strong growth rate for its size, which means it establishes quickly and feels reliably. And it produces lavender flowers in the summer that adds an added layer of interest. This one is a recently added specimen to my garden, and I'm watching it develop. Based on what I've seen, the mature clump is dense, low, and absolutely reliable. If you want brightness in the shade without going large, I would consider Island Breeze. Since we're on the topic of islands, I decided to keep the theme consistent. Number 11 here is a tiny one that we call Tiki Bar. Tiki Bar is a small hosta maturing to about 7 to 8 inches tall and 15 to 20 inches wide. It has apple yellow-green centers with dark green margins, slightly folded, heart-shaped leaves, and it forms one of the tidiest, most compact mounds of any hosta I've grown. But here's where Tiki Bar sets itself apart from the rest of the hostas. In midsummer, it's going to put up a flower spike 2 to 3 feet tall that is lavender and very fragrant. In a genus where fragrance is relatively uncommon, this is a standout feature. That's the kind of emotional connection to a landscape you cannot put a price tag on. And Tiki Bar gives you that in a very small footprint. Container gardeners, take note. This one is exceptional in a pot with the added benefit of fragrant flowers. I saved this one for last because I want you to tell me if you've ever seen another hosta that has this type of shape. This is praying hands. Praying hands leaves are narrow, tightly folded, upright, look like hands folded in prayer. This is completely unlike any other hosta in commerce. Where every other variety on the list gives you broad, spreading, horizontal foliage, praying hand grows upright. The leaves are dark olive green with a narrow cream to white margin, and the entire plant has a fine architecture texture that simply cannot be found in other hostas. It matures to 14 to 18 inches tall with 12 to 16 inch spread, and the upright growth habit means it works beautifully as a vertical accent in a shade bed between broader leaf companions or in a container where you want structure and contrast. I've seen this play out time and time again. The most unusual plants are often the most photographed plants and most talked about plants in the landscape, and praying hands falls into that category. This is one of my more recent plantings in the landscape as well, but even at this young age, you can see the texture and the shape of this plant is completely unique. There you have it, 12 hosta varieties that I'll always use in the landscape. Some of them are classics, and some of them are new that I have great hopes for. If you have a hosta variety in your landscape that we did not talk about, mention it down in the comments below. I would love to look it up and learn something about it. Guys, as always, thank you for watching The Plant Doctor, and until next time, happy gardening.